video, I'm going to be showing you 3 ways to feel worthy instantly, and I'm going to show you ways of looking at life in general that may completely change your life. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 ways that you can feel worthy instantly and how you can begin to tap into more of who you are. Now, the reason this is so important is because I've been sharing videos on the law of attraction on my YouTube channel for about 2 years now. And in it, I've shared, especially in the beginning of my journey, I talked mainly about how we don't always necessarily get in life that which we want, but we always get a reflection of who we are being. Now, the reason I say this, because sometimes I say this and people feel a little bit discouraged about it. Now, it doesn't mean you can't get what you want, but what it does mean is if you believe that what you want you are not worthy of, then you won't experience it because it'll be outside of your realm of belief and also outside of your realm of deservability. So it's not so much that we get that which we want, but we always get a reflection of who we are being. So let me ask you this question, because for years I dealt with this myself. I didn't feel worthy. So my question to you is, what do you think you deserve? Because most likely what you experience in your life right now, you are getting a reflection of not only what you believe in, but also what you think you deserve. Now, sometimes this might sound a little bit hard to hear. Because when you hear that and you're thinking, well, what do I believe I deserve? And all I say is just look around, because if you look around, you'll see what you do deserve. And you'll be aware of it. And the thing is sometimes what's happened is something happened when we were younger, and in a moment we decided that this is who I am, this is what I deserve, when really you deserve so much more. It's just about getting outside of that little bubble that you may have created subconsciously when you were a little bit younger. Now, the first way that you start to become and to feel more worthy instantly is by doing a simple exercise. It's getting down to the first memory you have. Sometimes this memory will be kind of buried. It'll be kind of buried in the subconscious mind. But you have to get to your first childhood memory that you can remember. The first serious memory. It doesn't have to be negative, but in general, because maybe you have a very positive self-esteem and maybe something happened when you were young that really re-emphasized that. But in general, you'll see people like Tony Robbins, for example, who does a lot of personal help seminars and he deals with the work of like transformation. He'll ask that question a lot. He'll be like, what is the first childhood memory you have? What's the first memory you can remember? And the reason he asks this is because when we're young and an event happens, in a moment we decide that either this is the way life is or this is the way I have to be in order to get what I want. This is done at like a subconscious level. So the key is being aware of what those first childhood memories could be. Now, my buddy Victor and I were in San Diego for 2 days. Now I'm in LA, meeting with a couple other YouTubers out here. He flew back today. But we were in San Diego for a couple days, and last night we watched a movie in the Airbnb we were at. It's a movie called The King's Speech. And in this movie, there's a guy, it's a British movie, very good movie, by the way. There's this guy that's like about to be King Henry VI or something like that. And he stutters and he can't talk, like he can't talk fluidly. It's like he stutters when he speaks, and he has to give a very important talk because he's about to be king because his dad passed away, and he stutters. So it's like, how powerful of a king would he look if he couldn't even speak? So he has a speech coach, and in it, the speech coach is taking him back and helping him understand. And it's a funny dynamic because you got this guy with an ego, and he's trying to help break down this guy and take him out of his ego so that he can realize that he has this past childhood trauma that happened when he was 4 or 5 years old. The King George or whatever he was, the 6th, when he was like 5 years old, he got in trouble, and in a moment when he was being yelled at, he decided that this is who he was. Of course, it's a fictional character, but this happens all the time. And many, I'm assuming, speech coaches and people that have problems like stuttering, it most likely stems from a root belief of something that happened when they were young. And this happened even for me, for example. There was a certain level of feeling not deserving from my own childhood because of the way I grew up. Between the ages of 7 to 15, I had an abusive stepmom, ex-stepmom now. But between that period, me and my brother were constantly reinforced that we weren't good enough. So coming out of that, when I was 15 years old, my dad divorced her. All of a sudden, I have all this freedom again. And I still felt that I felt such a lack. I felt such of undeservability because of that past experiences. But this is what happened. When I became aware of that experience and I started to observe it, I started to then transform it. So I started to feel more worthy. So the key is in the light of awareness and simply becoming aware of the memory that is holding you back. That's when you start to really transform yourself in a powerful way. And it could be as simple as the very first memory that you have that had an impact on you. And many times what will happen is sometimes the mind might even block out the memory that's before that. So remember the earliest childhood memory that you have, and then imagine a memory before that. You might have to really intend for it to come up, but many times there's something that happened even before that memory that we blocked out because the brain, it was too much for us to handle. This a lot of times happens, and it's when you become aware of it, it changes everything. Sometimes people think, oh, it's got to be more complicated than that. Like you can't just find out this memory and then automatically change your life, but it really can be that simple. It's only our beliefs that say, oh, it has to be more complicated. We need to make it complex. It can be that simple because when you become aware of it, you see you don't have to continue the story. You don't have to continue the narrative. It's something that you need to let go of. Now, for example, or the second way that we let go of not feeling deserving, and we can start to feel more worthy instantly, is understanding that in every moment, it is a completely new moment. Now, as we are shifting our perspective of this now moment, our cells are constantly dying and being reborn. So the story that we tell ourselves is continue to take on this momentum of its own, but we can change that at any moment we decide. Now, for example, I'll share with you a little bit of my story with this. When it comes to labels, I used to label myself as I had quote-unquote ADHD, which means simply I had a lot of energy, have a lot of energy, I still do, but I reframed it. And what happened was I went to a doctor, they gave me this prescription drug called Adderall, and I took that, and that helped me focus, but there were harsh side effects, like you couldn't eat very much, you couldn't sleep very much. So I took that for years, and then I was like, eventually, I need to find something else. And because of the harsh side effects, and I eventually came across meditation. I was working at Nordstrom's at the time in women's shoes, and I remember learning about meditation and the science of it, like the benefits of it, and it was like just black and white science. Like if you do this, you increase the serotonin, the dopamine in your brain, and what Adderall does, it increases dopamine. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try this. What I did is I learned meditation. It absolutely changed my life. Not only did I get off Adderall within 2 weeks of doing meditation, but I became aware of all the beliefs I had that were holding me back. I believed that I had to take Adderall. And because of that label, it continued to create the situation, believing I had ADHD, continued to create the momentum of that over and over again. But really, I could just let that go. And the moment I let it go was the moment things began to shift for me. The moment I became aware, once again, I shined the light of awareness on that, is the moment everything began to change. So as I became aware of that belief, I let it go, and my whole life changed. And in the same way, I would start to able to feel more deserving, because anytime we believe, imagine it like this. We have an energy field around our body, every single one of us. If I had my handy dandy notebook right now that I have in my other videos, you would know I'd be able to draw this beautiful stick figure of me, or just a stick figure, and then this energy bubble around it. Now imagine this energy bubble around a stick figure, and imagine that there's this flow of energy that's constantly happening. Now the HeartMath Institute has shown that there's a toroidal field around our body that goes 6 to 8 feet around our body at least. And what happens is in this energy field, there's an easy flow, smooth flow that goes through it. Now what happens is the moment something happens that we don't think that thing should be there, what happens is the moment the thing happens and the way we relate to whatever happens is a negative thing, we create this jolt in our energy pattern, and we create this kink in our hose in a way, and then we create this disturbance in our energy field. And what happens is then we go out into the world, and we will then link up, because we always get a reflection in our life of our energy, a reflection of what we believe to be true, and a reflection of how we feel. Because there's this pattern within our energy field, we link up to experiences that reflect that back. So we may have just this kink of something that happened when we were 5 or 6 years old in our energy field, and it's just kept being propelled, kept being perpetuated because of the story that we tell ourselves. Now, the truth is that every moment our cells are dying and being reborn, but it's like we're almost not aware of it, simply because we are telling ourselves the same story day in and day out. I had to change my story. I have ADHD to now I have a lot of energy that I need to ground, and I ground it by meditating 10 minutes, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night. So become aware of what that is. Here's another interesting example. They've shown, this is like scientifically proven, it's been experimented many times, people with personality disorder, multiple personality disorder, what they have found is that people with multiple personality disorder, when they're in one personality, say they're in the personality of Daryl, Daryl then shifts to another personality of Derek. And when he's going from Daryl to Derek, in Daryl's body, or Daryl's personality, he may have a completely healthy body, be a very positive person. He shifts to his other personality, and the other personality, Derek, is a little bit more negative. And because he's more negative, he has different thought patterns. And that Derek may actually have a disease. Actually, in the cellular body, like if you were to take that of the cells in that person's body and Derek's body and put them into a petri dish and test it, you could see that that person has some type of disease or some type of sickness. However, when they shift 10 minutes later into another personality, you could test their body again, and then that disease is not in their body. Now, how is this possible? Now, the way this is possible is either, get a little more esoteric here, either we live in a simulation, and the pattern of the energy of how we identify ourselves is continuing to perpetuate itself. It can change on a dime like that, which I believe is probable, by the way, and that's something that science is beginning to show. It doesn't need to be a scary thing. Sometimes people hear simulations like, well, we live in a computer or something. No, it just means that there's a deeper level of consciousness and that things are based on patterns. And it doesn't have to be a scary thing. It's actually a very empowering thing, because once you learn how to use it, you can then kind of direct your life in a powerful way, and you realize that you are so much more than the avatar body that we live in. It's a whole nother video, though. So anyways, the idea, though, is that that person can shift from one to the other because we are constantly shifting from second to second based on our identity, based on how we identify ourselves. So do you think you're worthy? And if you don't think you're worthy, can you give yourself permission to change right now? You see, that is the key. The key is giving yourself permission to change. Sometimes I find myself saying, when I achieve a certain level of success, then I can feel happy. Then I can be a certain way. And I wait. I put my happiness on hold. And then when that thing comes, it's almost like I feel a little bit let down because it's not as good as I thought. But if I condition myself to be happy now, things happen quicker than ever. So this is about having that awareness of understanding how all of this changes. Now, the third way that you can feel worthy instantly is by letting go of the rule in your mind of what it takes to feel worthy. See, many times what will happen is we'll say, when I achieve X, Y, Z, just like I was explaining a minute ago, but we all have a different rule set for what it means for us to feel happy. And the expectation we have is something that unless we live up to, we will always feel less than that. Now, someone say, well, you're saying to lower my bar? Doesn't mean that you lower your bar of your goals. What it means is you give yourself permission to enjoy the process towards the goals, and you give yourself permission right now to feel deserving and worthy. The truth is you are always 100% whole and complete. The only thing that will keep you back from that is being attached to identities that no longer serve, or being attached to some type of definition or label that no longer serves. And comparing yourself to other people. That's something that will do it as well. Stop comparing yourself to other people. I know it's easier said than done, but understand that everyone is only thinking of themselves anyways. If you were to go in the middle of the street right now and say something and make some weird gesture or whatever, people are thinking about it in terms of what does that mean for them. Maybe they don't get it, the weird gesture that you do. I still accept you. But understand that if you do it, they're thinking of themselves. It's just kind of the way, just having that realization, you can then bring it back to you. Bring it back to how you feel about yourself. Because here's the thing, whatever you feel about yourself, you're going out into the world, you're projecting that out, and other people are responding to you based on how you feel about yourself. So knowing that, it means who cares what people think, because it's more about what you think. It's more about how you feel. And the key to that is lowering the bar of what it takes for you to feel deserving or worthy. And you will feel worthy instantaneously when you lower the bar. And you know that you exist, therefore you are worthy. In a way, saying that we're not worthy is in a way arguing with creation. It's arguing with the universe, because if you weren't worthy, you wouldn't exist. It's about understanding and agreeing with the universe that you are worthy. Because otherwise you'd be doing something else. You wouldn't be here. But you have a purpose. You have something you could be doing. You see, and that's something that I've come to understand more and more, is the more I tap into how worthy I am, understanding that everything in my life is a reflection of what I believe I deserve, the more that changes my life. So what I choose to do, here's another tip, freebie. If I were to put number 4, here we go. Number 4, put the awareness in your heart more often. Increase the energy field of your body. Increase the energy field of your heart. Learn to observe your thoughts as well. This in general will change your whole life. You learn how to observe your thoughts. You learn that thoughts aren't you. Thoughts are just content, just information. We interpret the reality that we experience through our 5 senses. The thing is we may have certain thoughts that come up, which are normally repetitions of the past, but what we can learn to do is to observe them. Understand there's so much more than what we experience through our 5 senses. There's emotions beyond that which we have priorly thought or felt, experienced. And we begin to tap into that when we let go of the content of our mind, when we let go of the repetitive thoughts we've been thinking, with the little bubble that we create around ourselves, with the lens through which we see the world. There is so much more than that. And the moment we begin to experience that is the moment we let go of the rules as to what it takes for us to elevate our emotion. Because when we're in a higher state of emotion, that's more true to our frequency. That's who we really are. That's why when you follow your passion, it feels so good. Passion is your body's translation that's telling you, hey, this is who you are. Keep doing this thing. When I make videos, I get into a flow state, which is, in a way, telling me, Aaron, continue to do this. This is who you are. This is what you're meant to be doing. And when I follow that passion, everything in my life changes. And when I go for the passion first, I feel more worthy. I feel more deserving. I feel like things in my life work out for me because I'm in alignment with who I am and what I'm meant to be doing in my life. It's about alignment. It's about understanding who you are, what you deserve. So I know today's video is a little bit about the shadow work, going deeper within. But when you let go of, when you become aware of these patterns, you shine the light on it, you can then let it go. You know, it's nice to see and to have some of these law of attraction teachings to where it's like, think it, just keep thinking it, just keep thinking it. But if you want to go in and unroot it and get to the root of what you believe, that's where the power is, because it's more so our beliefs create our reality than just the thoughts. Now, in general, you think about something enough and you take action with it as well, and you start to mold yourself and to get into the vibrational flow of it, you may start to believe whatever you're focusing on. But the key is understanding that if at the root you don't feel worthy, if at the root you don't feel like enough, then pull and become aware of that. Pull out those roots and become aware that as you pull out those roots, you are taking your power back. You are allowing the light of consciousness to shine on you, and you're able to glow in that realm of who you really are. The spotlight comes at you, and you become the star of your own movie. Rather than the cameo in anyone else's, rather than comparing yourself to other people, you are enough. I encourage you to feel it now. Encourage you to know that you can lower the bar of expectation. Encourage you to know you can let go of the past experiences, that you are constantly shifting in every single second. Your cells of your body are dying and being reborn. Tell yourself a new story by letting go first of the story that no longer serves. So remember, you are worthy. If you want a meditation that will help you to raise your vibration, to feel more worthy, I've created one. I recommend you listen to it for 21 days. It's in the top of the description box below. Also, I'll be doing more live Q&As on Instagram. If you want to also follow my journey while I'm here in Los Angeles or while I'm doing traveling, I'll be doing more traveling, making videos in exotic places. If you want to be a part of that, you can follow me right there. You can follow me on Instagram. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little notification gear next to the subscribe button so you can see the daily vids. That's the way YouTube does it now. They actually have to hit that button. Other than that, as always, peace, much love, namaste.